Hello, everybody. Well, 24 years, 11 months ago, I had an opportunity to come up with this speech, and you know what? I left it at home, so I apologize. So I guess we're going to wing it here. First of all, Deidre and her staff at Gibbet Hill, they've done a fantastic job. Thank you very much for everything you've done. The place looks fabulous. Please enjoy yourself tonight. Everybody here, thank you for coming out on a Thursday. Rush hour traffic. You all got here for 4 o'clock. Thank you very much. And as Brianna told me, Thursday's the new Friday, so enjoy. 27 years ago, I married my best friend, and together we had 3 miracles. Really blessed. Today we got a 4th. Paul, couldn't be happier, so thank you.
Good job, Greg. Amen.
Okay, so I've been asked to start with a couple of messages from some family members that couldn't be here. So to Mr. and Mrs. Paul Hewson, many wedding congratulations from the English cousins. Would love to have been there to meet the newest branch of the family. Thinking of you all, and Timmy wants some transatlantic cake. Ziska, Anna, Timmy, Christine, and Chris send their love. Also, Paul's Nana sends her love and congratulations. So I suppose it's traditional that these speeches lean on the emotional and play on comical events of our youth. But I'd rather start with the facts. For those that don't know, I'm Nick. I'm the best man. Paul, you've for a long time been what I would classify as my best friend. I'm sorry, other groomsmen, he's just better than you guys. Brianna, you've been, for not quite as long, but for a respectable period, what I refer to lovingly as my best friend-in-law. A title I give with all of the affection and none of the stigma of in-law, as I'm sure Paul does with your family. You two have been dating 1,324 days, a fact I was handily able to deduce from your website. For those that haven't already seen, please check out their website. It's a lovely rendition of their relationship and meant that I didn't really have to do any research or really even try to write this speech. So thanks, guys. Here's where things get technical, so bear with me. You were born 3,150 miles apart and have a combined age of 48. Brianna, you were born on the 21st of the 11th, 1990, which were written as a single digit, correctly, as we British would, 211190. Paul, born on the 14th of February, 1990, 140291. Now, if we take these 2 digits, we add them together, we get 351841. We divide that by the number of days you've been together, and again by your combined age, and we get 5.43. And what's the time difference between Boston and Leeds? 5 hours. Now, if anyone really needs any more evidence than that these two are made to be together, then I don't really know what to tell you. Other than, of course, anybody that looks at you two can see how perfect you are for each other. Simply being in each other's company improves the other's mood, and that spreads to all those that are close to you. It makes me so very happy to be here today and to share and be part of it, and honored to have been made part of it. But that's all sounding a bit too sentimental, and we are typically British. We make soppy statements logically using math. So let's move on to the fun bit. Hey, Paul, remember that time you got so drunk that you forgot the alarm code to your parents' house? Meaning, of course, we woke up half the street, including your father, who came in to find out what the hell was going on, me and Sam abandoning you, running down the road. Now, as you picture this, I'm sure you're thinking, the things they did as kids. No, this was about 6 months ago. Which made no difference to me and Sam, both sheepishly running down the street, to the sound of your father shouting and you slurring responses. After all, what are friends for? And it wasn't the first time we'd dumped you on your doorstep and left you to face the music. Not that you'd remember it in the morning. All this just after stopping a taxi 2 streets away because of travel sickness. Always one of Paul's vices. That meant that whenever we were traveling, there were many pit stops, All I can hope is that, Brianna, your journey with him through life is a little smoother. Frankly, I'm surprised we made it here today if Paul was involved, given that every essay and assignment that he produced in his academic career got the Hewson treatment, a term we coined early in his university studies to mean leaving everything to the very last minute, spending all the night before in the library and missing the word count by approximately 5%, only to miraculously end up with a top grade. He was one of those people at university, the people you hate at university that spare no thought for their studies for weeks, living a peaceful, relaxed existence while you slave away under every textbook you can find in the library, only to beat you at the last minute. Not that I'm bitter, of course. He's just one of those naturally talented people, or as we call him, lazy. Thankfully, he overcame this issue and managed to organize such a beautiful August wedding. Or remember the time you punched that bus stop? I'm sure that when you tell this story to your grandkids, it'll be numerous large bus stops and they'll be trying to steal your wallet. But I'll never forget getting a text at 2 a.m. that says, "You think you've broken your hand because James dared you to punch a bus stop." Lost my place. 1 minute. It's too long. Fortunately, you lived close to the hospital, so you just got to spend a night in a waiting room feeling sorry for yourself. Thankfully, no further bus stops were injured. In fact, I'm pretty sure you came off worse than the first one. Lesson learned, violence towards inanimate metal objects doesn't always pay off. I'll never forget the time when on a group walking holiday in the Lake District, Paul takes up residency at the back of the group, staring constantly, not as would be expected, at the beautiful scenery, vast lakes and forests, but down into his iPhone, earning himself the nickname iPhone. We're not very creative. His devotion to the phone so severe that he was moving far slower than the rest of us. So much so we thought it'd be amusing to hide in the bushes and ambush him as he walked past. 10 minutes we sit in the bushes, waiting gleefully for the opportunity to jump out and scare his socks off. 10 more minutes we wait, until eventually we receive a phone call from our resident iPhone. "Where are you?" he says. "Where are you?" we say. "On the path," he replies. Not only had you managed to not notice which direction your friends were walking in, but you'd managed to get yourself lost. And why, you might ask, was he so transfixed with his phone and not the beautiful scenery or the companionship of his friends? Because on the other end of that phone, 3,000 miles away, was an American girl, occupying his mind and incapacitating his navigational skills. Technology has played a large part in your relationship. If it's not the iPhones or the Skype calls that allow for a person so far away to feel so close, it's the way that these crazy kids first met. Now, if you were to read the Hollywood love story version of their first meeting on their website, they'll tell you that they met at the University Society for Rock Music, or RockSoc. Whereas, in fact, they'd met before that, albeit in a digital world, online. Paul had uploaded one of many videos to YouTube of him sitting in his bedroom singing to himself. Brianna, searching the web from Massachusetts, looking for people to talk to and friends to meet on her arrival in the UK, stumbles upon the RockSoc Facebook group. There she sees a long-haired British boy playing heartfelt songs on his guitar, and what more could she ask for? She sparks up a conversation about how dreamy and British he is, tells him she'll be joining the society when she gets there. And then what can we expect you to do, Paul? Beautiful American girl, all fangirled and eager to tell you how rock and roll you are. You'd hit the jackpot. Little did you know how true that was. Your relationship comes as a testament to the modern age. Facebook, Skype, iPhones, and the internet, all tools that helped guide and maintain your bond and allowed you to find love across great distances, cities, and oceans. For the last couple of years, we've joked that every time I find myself in a relationship meltdown, the first thing I choose to do is visit you two. Now, most people would think that would be the last thing I'd want to do. Why, when my love life is so tragically failing, would I want to visit a smug, perfectly happy domestic couple? People that remind me of everything I've so spectacularly failed at achieving. But it's just that fact that attracts me. Having you two to call upon and to rekindle my hope for love in times of anger and regret is something you make me truly thankful for. Seeing a couple so well-matched, equally brilliant, and brilliantly equal in their passion for life and one another. I don't come to see you guys just because you're my best friends, although I suppose that is part of the reason. It's because Brianna laughs at all my jokes. Albeit rather enthusiastically and often with that look of bemusement that means I don't really know what you're talking about, but I'll laugh politely. Yeah, that one. Growing up with Paul has been challenging, and I mean that in the best possible way. Paul, you have a true thirst for information. Some might say you have to be right, but I see it more as you wanting to understand. And that thirst for knowledge is something you've drilled into all of us growing up. Never being able to make flippant or exaggerated statements because of fear of iPhone Googling the facts and correcting your sensationalism. It's a characteristic some may consider pedantic or irritating, and they'd be right. But it also has been a formative part of our lives. That yearning to fully understand all angles of every discussion, that inquisitive challenging of statements for facts, is something we've all picked up and leads to us being rather an argumentative group. We relish discussions and debate, none more so than myself, all of which stemming from spending your formative years being challenged and pushed for fact. It's that very thing that I believe have helped many of us to succeed in our adult lives. Prioritization of facts and logic, gleefully challenging the world around us, and being confident in our own opinions. For that, Paul, I thank you. And it makes me very happy to see you found someone with a thirst for knowledge that equals your own, and someone that can compete with your argumentative nature far better than we ever could. Today marks a new chapter in your story, both romantically and geographically, which, while it saddens us to no longer have you both in our daily lives, we share in your excitement for the future. The opportunities and possibilities that your life together holds, and having a free place to stay in Boston can't hurt. All I hope is the same technology that kept you so close to each other during this time apart can help keep you close to us in the future. Paul, you've always been such an emotionally expressive man. And when it came to writing this speech, I found myself thinking, who better to explain the love shared between you two crazy kids than the man himself? So I turned to the lyrical wonders of the artist formerly known as Hello Hero, Mr. Paul Hewson. Oh, I'd cross the ocean and the deep blue sea if it would bring you home to me. It's amazing how in such short time I feel like you belong in these arms of mine. Because who needs the sound of 1,000 voices when you've fallen in love with just one? And we'll raise a family, most perfect kids you've ever seen, so bright and so strong. They'll have their mother's eyes, and they'll sing their father's songs, and you and I will be the king and queen. All I can say is I'm glad you finally found your queen. Jokes aside, it stands as a testament to the creativity and ingenuity of both of you that the wedding looks so beautiful. Fortunately, it is actually beautiful, or I'd have had to improv this whole section. So it's something which I know you both have worked hard on and put so much attention into, and to be here amongst all your family and friends in such a beautiful setting is amazing. So thank you and well done. May I say also how amazing the bridesmaids look? You all look equally stunning, surpassed only in the beauty of your bride. A big thank you also to the parents, Greg and Kathy, without whose generosity and hospitality many of us couldn't even be here today. Leslie and Andy, for so many things. I don't know where that's at. For so many things throughout the years, from both myself and all the groomsmen. There you are. Thank you. Paul, socially, intellectually, morally, and musically, you are an inspiration to me. You're one of the most talented men I know, and I can't express how proud I am to be your best man at your wedding. So I ask all of you to raise your glasses to my best friends, two of the best people I know, Mr. and Mrs. Hewson. Cheers.
Well, it's going to be tough to compete with that accent. He could have been reading the menu, and it would have just sounded just as good. Hi, everyone. If you don't know me, I'm Kira. I'm Brianna's sister and maid of honor. And if you do know me, well, aren't you special? You're welcome. I want to thank you all for taking the time to be here tonight. I know it's really hard to get here on a Thursday, and a lot of you guys came from far over, and a bunch of you guys even came from England. And I bet you feel right at home because the weather is just as much as you're used to as possible. I just want to take a moment to look at how perfect of a couple Brianna and Paul make. You guys are truly perfect for each other, and I'm so happy for both of you. When I started to write this speech, the first thing I thought about was when I first saw Paul. And it was actually before Brianna even met him. Yes, weeks before she actually went to Manchester. She showed me some YouTube videos of this random British boy she had found on Facebook while looking through some Manchester Rock Society group, And in the video, there was Paul playing his guitar and singing a song. I never thought in that moment that that boy would one day be her husband and my brother-in-law. Actually, the only thought in my mind was, wow, Brianna, you're really creepy. But now that I've gotten the chance to get to know Paul, I know that there's no one else in this world that would be better for my sister to marry than him. He's smart, funny, a sweetheart, and an amazing chef. From the beginning, Paul fit perfectly into our family, despite all of our weird quirks. He even lasted a whole week camping with us, family bonding in a cozy trailer with all 5 of us, Brady and Casey, and if he can put up with that, in my book, he's a keeper. So Paul, welcome to our family, and I'm so glad to have gained another brother today, and I know Colin's relieved not to have only 2 sisters anymore. Now on to the beautiful bride, Brianna. You are gorgeous every day, but I honestly don't think I've ever seen someone more stunning than you are today. Am I right, or am I right? My whole life, I've always looked up to Brianna. She was and still is my idol, and I couldn't have asked for a better one. I remember in 7th grade, my MCAS prompt was to write about your hero, and I didn't have to think twice to write about her. She's the reason I am who I am today. I've always tried to be as much like her as possible, and I think I'm doing a pretty good job at that. I mean, we both play volleyball. We went to UMass, made fools of ourselves on Family Feud. All I have to do now is go abroad and find myself a husband, and I think I've relived your life, basically. We aren't just sisters, we're also best friends. Not many people can say they are as close, or that they are lucky enough to be as close to their sibling as I am with Brianna. We grew up together, shared experiences that we will never forget. And sure, we fought sometimes, and there may still be some small bickering from time to time, usually over me stealing her clothes. But in the end, we're as close as 2 people can be. We can look at each other and just know what they're thinking. And we make some pretty interesting faces at each other while doing that. When we're together, it gets entertaining real fast, and we're both weird in all the same ways. Nothing compares to the shenanigans we get up to while goofing around on a slow day of work at the pro shop. Bobby, you might want to check those cameras. But when my parents first told Brianna that I was going to be born and that she'd have another sister, her response was her wailing and saying, "But our family's perfect the way it is." And although she may not have started out excited about a younger sister, from my perspective, having an older sister is the best. When I'm in trouble, she'll do whatever she can to help. She was the first person I called when I crashed my dad's car in a wall at midnight. And when I needed advice, I always have someone to go to. And when I need paper edited, she's pretty good for that too. So if the speech isn't grammatically correct, it's because she couldn't edit it beforehand. I've gotten to watch Brianna go from the Avril Lavigne-loving, all-black-wearing, and awkward teenager to the strong, independent, adventurous, and still all-black-wearing, beautiful woman she is today. So I want to wish a happy life to the 2 of my most favorite people in the world, Paul and Brianna. I hope you guys know I'm here to support you, and I love you both. I'm honored to be part of your brilliant day, and may you guys be this happy your entire life. So, to Mr. and Mrs. Hewson, cheers.